once you learned what love looked like, then you were able to love on yourself and love on others. And that's what I want you to think about right now is, where did you learn about love?
Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear you. Yes.
Because honestly, there are some students, some participants here at the conference where they learned love from a broken home. They learned love from a dad or mom that didn't love them. Maybe they did learn love from a family that has been together this entire time, from a married family. Maybe they had a family that was together. You need to think about where you learned love. Does anyone want to be brave and kind of share where they think they learned love? You learned love from your mom? How do you think you love on others? What did you learn from her? You don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Mike. Oh, Brandon.
I just have to say through my parents and my other brothers and sisters that are married, because I guess that's the relationship that my parents do have. I mean, yes, they have their fights and everything, but they always seem in the end to work it out, and they've been together for almost 30 years now, still with that.
Someone raise their hand and define the word love. You know, because if we want to understand why that one's before self-esteem, we better be able to learn how to define it. Joe.
I think love is knowing somebody inside and out for the bad and the good, and still like being there, like being.
One more definition or one more thought about what love is? Yes.
Investing like who you are into somebody else for their good.
Okay, so then let me ask you guys this. So you guys heard these definitions, so then what does self-love mean? Because if we were to think about this, because if you guys want to feel better about yourselves, you'll need to understand this. If you guys truly want to feel comfortable with who you are and find out who you are, you need to know this. Because what he just said was that love was investing yourself into someone else. Then if I say self-love, then that means investing time into yourself. Guess what that means? That means caring about yourself. You know what happens when you guys get depressed or sad? You know what happens? It's your body telling you that you need to deal with something. That you need to deal with a problem that's happening. You need to process emotions that are going on inside your head, inside your heart. That you need to get it out and dealt with. When I was a junior, how many students do I have going into their junior year? All right, so let me share with you guys a story, okay? When I was a junior in high school, I had a lot of social anxieties. Let me tell you where that came from. My whole life, I have had a huge insecurity about my looks. Who feels they've been that way, or been there? Like, I feel a huge insecurity. Like, we talked about, I care more about my character than my looks. Some of you were on either side, but you still have that insecurity. Because a lot of times when I was in elementary school, middle school, the reason why I felt like I couldn't get a girlfriend was because of my looks. It was because of my looks. And that created a huge hole in my heart. And what happened was that in 6th grade, I didn't have a girlfriend when I was in elementary school, and I was talking with some classmates, and they said, "What, are you gay?" And what happened is that these guys went around the entire middle school telling them that I was gay. To have those kind of hurtful words put on you, the next thing that you want to do is to go into defense mode. When you go into defense mode, what happened to me was that I turned into a bully. I mainly resorted to verbal bullying, so calling people names and things like that, because it was comfortable for me. Whatever everyone else did, whatever names anyone else called someone else, that was what I said, because you know what? It made me feel better about myself, because I was like, you know what? People are calling me gay. What can I call you that's worse than gay? And so what happened was that when I finally got into high school, I mean, my world blew up. I went to a high school my freshman year. It was a high school of 2,000 people. And so there was a lot of girls there. I know, that's what's up. And still, they put me, gentlemen, how many times have you guys put in the friend zone? Or the I love you like a brother zone. Yeah. Oh man, no, you know what it's. Oh man, it's terrible. It's terrible. They're just like, I love. It's like, no man, I care about you, but you're like, oh, don't even say but. It's like, all right, fine, we'll be friends. That's cool. So, what happened was that at the same time I was still dealing with that, and so all I tried to do is I shifted from being a bully into being a doormat. How many of you have felt like you've been a doormat in your life? That you just let people walk all over you? What happens is that this is what happened. All of a sudden, my friends wanted to be the one to drive them everywhere. They wanted me to crack the jokes. They wanted me to be the smart one to help them with their homework, to help them with group projects. They expected me to be the funny one. They expected me to crack jokes all the time. They expected me to be the shoulder to cry on. How many of you guys feel like you have all these expectations of your friends that you feel like you have to meet? Guess what happened? I fell into a 3-month depression. The weight of expectations, guys, is rough and it's heavy, especially when you allow them to drive your life. Those expectations, they got crazy for me. They got crazy because you know what? Because I didn't know who I was anymore. Because my friends were saying, you should be this, because then I'll love you. That's what they said to me. I will love you if you do this. That's called conditional love. And that's what happened is for 3 years of my life, I allowed myself to be a doormat. I allowed myself to be told how to act. And what happened is that my favorite aunt passed away about a week after my birthday when I was a junior. And with all of those anxieties, I fell into a depression, guys. It takes just one event in your life to completely shift your emotions. Because I was happy. I felt like I was happy. Probably wasn't genuine, but all of a sudden this shift happened, and I wasn't who I was, and my emotions just shifted. And so, for 3 months, I battled. Now, you guys see me on stage. You guys see me on stage when I'm like walking around like an idiot, going like this and jumping around like that, okay? You guys see me. You guys are seeing me for who I am right now. But if you guys can imagine this, 2 months into my depression, my mom actually asked me if I wanted to go into therapy. She said flat out, JP, do you want to go into therapy? Do you want to go into therapy for depression? And I said, no, Mom, I don't. I'm not going into therapy. And after the 3rd month, I finally kicked myself in the butt and I said, you know what? I know what love is. I have a better understanding of it. And you know what? That needs to come back into here. Because right now, I need to do some repairing. Because like I told you guys, that depression, that kind of sadness that you guys feel, that's your body telling you that there's something wrong. And that you need to deal with it. Let me read something to you out of my journal. Okay? I started this journal back in August, this past August, so only almost a year ago. And what I did is, I'm not doing that thing where it's just like, April 21st, I had my first kiss. Okay, I'm not doing that. What I did in August, and I'm a little bit older than you guys, what I did is I just started writing about how I felt about life, how I felt about relationships, friendships, all that kind of stuff. I don't put dates in here. All I do is just start writing. And actually, I've written a good amount in a year. I'm trying to turn it into a book. So I want to share 2 entries with you, but we'll talk about them as we go along, okay? Here's the first one.